Anyone who has slept with a parent star off camera, what was the experience like? She wasn't a big name in the industry, but she has videos. It was a really good experience. No over the top nonsense like you see in the documentaries. It was just like having sex with a normal person, except she was really good at what she does and she truly enjoys it. Documentaries. I'm going to tell my wife that I'm watching documentaries in the bathroom from now on when she asks me what's taking so long. I've known two guys who have, and they said it was just plain old sex with no heightened performance. One guy had a one night stand at a bar. The other briefly dated one. Since a number of PRN stars also do escort work, I wouldn't be surprised if they did put on a show for their client. Uninspired. The last thing she wanted to do was have sex when she was off work. She was a delightful dinner companion though. She was animated and focused on me, and everybody in the restaurant wondered how a schlubby guy like me snagged such a hot date. It was not the mind-blowing experience I had assumed it would be. The biggest difference was that she used a couple of positions that were new to me. They weren't amazing. And after a couple times I realized that she was playing to an imaginary camera. All in all 8/10. We're bang again. It's like eating potato chips. I dated a girl who seemed like she had a simple life. I later found out she was a stripper, and later that she was in a few movies. Sex was great. But I don't think her career had anything to do with it. We had a great energy together that only got stronger the more we learned each other's crazy life stories. She also was bi and would get drunk and bring women home. Good memories. Had a friend who dated one for a while. She was gorgeous. A bombshell. She was funny and very easygoing. She had emotional issues that the poor guy would break up with her. Years later, at his birthday, one of his new colleagues refused to believe our jokes about dating a PRN actress. The face when the dude saw some pics. Priceless. Oh. She told me to make love to her because she was tired of just being FK'd, and I came in like 2 minutes. Not an encounter I'm very proud of. Edit. Holy shit, silver. Well, thank you. At least somebody was eventually satisfied from that. Edit 2. Of course, this is my most upvoted comment ever. I'm a woman. I had sex with a very prolific male PRN star before he became famous. He had a huge dick, which was like wow, but he didn't know how to use it. At all. Watching his PRN now and it's still centered the size of him. Not his skill but the actress's. He says the same weirdo yay now that he did then. Turn off then. Turn off now. I once had sex with a PRN star probably about 4 years or so before she got into the industry. That was more than 15 years ago, and I still remember all the times we FK'd. In detail. So I have to say she was already destined for the screen, I guess. I haven't, but I know a guy who did. He said she was a really cool person and they had a lot in common. But the sex was not at all what someone would imagine. Apparently, she got into the industry pretty quickly after losing her virginity, and basically 90% of her sexual experiences were on camera. Because of this, she didn't know how to have a natural sexual experience with a normal person. He said if he didn't tell her what he wanted her to do, she was awkward and clueless. It's sad. TBH. She was so used to being directed that if someone wasn't directing her, she couldn't just go with it and enjoy herself organically. My buddy basically paid to sleep with Bonnie Rotten. He said he isn't into the gagging on dick noises, and then I wondered why he paid BR and if he's ever seen her videos. Huh. Ron Jeremy once shook my hand and told me that he appreciated my work. Does that count? I'm anticipating my ex becoming a PRN star in about a year. How do I find you in a year? I've forgotten you already. Currently in a relationship with a former PRN actress. Throwaway for reasons. Didn't know she used to do PRN when we started dating. She didn't tell me until after we had sex. Gives the best head I've ever received. But for a while I thought she was faking or get MS because my dumbass watched one of her videos on Pornhub and she sounded like she does with me. FK'd with my head for a while. But I've talked to her about it and we're all set. After her, nothing else compares. I'd almost rather stay single than go back into the dating pool trying to FCK girls that look good in their pictures, have boring personalities, and then are terrible in bed. This girl is going to ruin me and I'm alright with it. I recently found out that a lot of P-run stars are available for private bookings via superstar escort agencies. My favorite P-run star Veronica Rodriguez charges are $3. $5. Comma charges are $3. $5. 000 per hour, and every now and then she'll do a post on Instagram. Comments disabled on these posts, saying available in whatever city this weekend. Oh man. If I ever saw that with my favorite PRN star, I would have to immediately force myself to jerk it and then forget about everything and go watch a Ken Burns documentary. I'm just commenting so my GF, who secretly follows me, freak out for a second. In fact twice. First was with a French P-run star. I'm European, but it was in an escorting encounter. As you would expect. She FK'd the brain out of me for 2 hours doing me things I didn't know that existed. Kind girl. Wanted to give some real pleasure and took her own, but it was for money. I once had a one night stand with a girl I was kind of looks like someone I know maybe in a movie, but who is she? Cute. Turned out she was a Hungarian P-run star just visiting Brussels where I live. But I recognized her only weeks later. Probably the kindest girl I've ever met. Took her around the city, then to a restaurant, and ended up at her hotel. Probably with her that I've learned the difference between F-king and making love. She spent the whole night in my arms and hers around me. Would do it 20/10. Not only she was a goddess, but she was heart melting. I was in an open relationship with a P-run star and her boyfriend, then fiance, then husband, for a little over a year, and I must say the sex was 10/10. In her videos I can tell when she's faking though, and I don't think she really enjoyed it as much as she pretended to. She had been doing it for so many years and is now 30 something, so I think she might just be afraid to start over career wise. Her husband eventually got jealous of our closeness and I moved out, ending our relationship. Miss the kiddo and the dog the most though. The best I've ever had. I swear. He knew my body better than I knew it myself. He was my first for several positions. For several types on intimacy. And I've never forgotten how intense and satisfying our sex was. Wish I could do it again. Kinda nuts. I've seen one woman say sex with a male P-run star was average. And the rest of the women said it was amazing. I didn't have sex with a P-run star, but one used one of my Android apps and asked for support. If anything, I'd say he was a little more articulate and tech savvy than the average person that emailed me. I mean, how many people on Reddit do you expect to have stories about F-king P-run stars? I mean, how many people on Reddit do you expect to have real stories about F-king P-run stars? Ftfi. Ava Adams was one of the worst recipients of doggy style I have ever come across. She kept her legs very close together, which put her vag at a weird angle and made it difficult to get a good stroke going. Admittedly, I could have been more assertive in repositioning her. Overall, it was 20 minutes of fairly mediocre sex. Lovely conversation afterwards though. I hope she is able to finish her nursing degree one day. My girlfriend and I have been in a few kink com shoots. And I FCK my girlfriend occasionally. So, you know. Pretty good. And I FCK my girlfriend occasionally. Few years ago met a retired adult actress through a mutual friend and we hit it off. Like many adult actresses, she had worked a lot for about 2 years. But then left the biz. This was 6 or 7 years since she had worked. It was the most normal sex. Nothing crazy. Very playful. I have never felt more comfortable in bed with any other woman. I always wonder if a woman is actually enjoying herself or just trying to make me feel good. With her, there was no doubt. She was into it. Knew what she liked. and gave great feedback. Looking back, wish it had turned into more. But alas, our schedules really didn't sync up, so we decided it wasn't going to work out long term. I had an orgy with Madison Ivy, Nicole Aniston and Kendall Lust. It was great. I shagged Zoe Voss a few months after she turned 18 and a few months before she went into PRN. She was really horny and I got the vibe she would be down for just about anything right away. Also, my wife and I have both made out with a different PRN star, also before they made the career switch. It wasn't at the same time and was way before I met my wife. Seems like they're just normal people that are maybe more attractive, all, and wild than average. Both of these girls had broken homes and were a little lost in life. Then met the wrong person to connect them to an easy way to make money doing something they like anyway. Throwaway account. So, there was a PRN star in my town that was doing private meet and greets. I said well why not and contacted her about it. When we finally meet up it was actually at my place and it started out like any other date, some small talk. She could tell I was a little nervous about it, but made sure I was comfortable and made the first move as it were. From then on she put on a bit of a show before we got started. From there I just kind of let the experience take over and it was the best sex ever. If for no other reason I could explore some kinks and other things with her and be completely open with her solely and experiment doing things I never would have been comfortable doing in a real relationship. I'd tell you all about it but Arp's mom made me sign an NDA. One of my friends had sex with Victoria Paradis. That lucky son of a bitch. I once did a friend who became a cam general later on. I technically didn't. Because as she climbed on top of me I got anxiety and went flat. It was actually lame as hell to be honest. I didn't know she did PRN until 2 weeks in. I was like seriously? Your dick is 2 weeks long? Had a threesome with a BDSM PRN actress and her then boyfriend. She was skilled at SOL stuff but I wasn't sure if she really liked me or not. I found out she was a PRN star after we finished the first time. It was great sex. But when I went home later and told my roommate, he obviously looked her up. The first video he showed me was her getting blasted in the face by 4 dudes. My roommate thought this was hilarious and said, "You dude. You didn't kiss her, did you? That was all before you." Full stop. Full stop. Comma took away from the experience a little. Well, it shouldn't. Your roommate is being a little bit of an ass and or is probably just secretly jealous. I had a friend who went out with a stripper. Said she was pretty wild in bed but nothing insane. Lol, great story. I dated a stripper for a while in my younger years. She was the best sex I have ever had. It was a very interesting experience. Definitely not at all what I thought it was going to be. It was with an older woman, somewhere in her 40s, that's attracted to younger males. Generally, my preference is for older women anyways since they tend to have more experience. She had a high sex drive. But after about an hour and some change, I had to throw in the towel, literally. Overall, if you ever get the chance to do it, do it. However, don't be surprised if it's not at all what you expected it to be. She couldn't finish until I yelled cut. It was pretty awesome in my experience. She was super confident and she had the prettiest lady parts I had ever seen and the most elaborate piercing I've ever seen too. It was like 3 separate piercings all connected by a gold chain with some dangly gemstones. I joked with my roommate that it was like a PSSY chandelier. She was also an incredible dirty talker and I'm into that. She switched between submissive and dominant the whole time, which was cool and new to me. I had never been domed by a girl before. She grabbed my beard and told me I was bad and as punishment I would have to eat her ass. Then she bent over and reached between her legs and pulled my face into her ass by the beard and started trash talking again. It was exciting for me. It was on the short list of best sex experiences for me, probably top 5. That Veronica Vaughn is one piece of ace. I know from experience. If you know what I mean. No. He was super confident and showed me the comments he gets about himself from gay men before we did anything. Funny enough, he lived up to his own hype. Slept with a porn star a few times. It was amazing, but she got really clingy and it really came back to bite me in the ass. I wanted to keep it quiet, but she said she was going to tell people and I had to actually pay her to keep quiet about it. Anyway, that was a long time ago and I'm president of the United States now, so it's all behind me. Well, to be perfectly honest, in my humble opinion, of course without offending anyone who thinks differently from my point of view, but also by looking into this matter in a different perspective and without being condemning of one's views and by trying to make it objective, and by considering each and everyone's valid opinion. I honestly believe that I completely forgot what I was going to say. I hope you realize this is 37 seconds I will never get back.